Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sonnet with Sonnet's Garden Blooms. I want to thank you all for stopping by. Now today you're in for a real treat. So I am using the new transfer from IOD called Christmas Valley, and I am transforming 6 items using that. And honestly, I could have kept on and on. There is so many possibilities with this transfer set. You guys are gonna absolutely love them. So if you haven't been on my channel before, welcome and thanks again for joining me. My channel is full of DIY, thrift hauls, thrift flips, and really a day in the life of a small business owner. If that is the type of channel you like, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, turn on your bell notifications. That way every Monday and Friday when I do release a video, you'll be notified. Go ahead, follow me on my other socials as well. I've been posting a ton more content over there. And if you haven't checked out my live from Wednesday, go back and take a peek. All the releases, or the IOD release, is being featured on my live. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed today's video.
I wanted to show you the transfer called Christmas Valley from the new IOD release. And let me tell you guys, I absolutely love this transfer. There are so many possibilities with it, and I'm going through, and the first 2 pages right away, I thought I am definitely going to be making signs with those. I love all these little critters. The one thing too that really caught my eye was the beautiful birds. There's just a ton of them in here, and I love anything with birds. And I know that that's what we've been hearing from customers. They wanted to see more birds. All the different wreaths in here with the berries, the greens, I love it. So I think this whole transfer has a ton of possibilities. To start with, I'm going to just start with page 1 of the transfer. For project 1, I had this board already pre-cut and painted, and it actually was a bit larger, so I actually cut it down a little bit, and the other portion of the board will be the perfect size for the other sign I want to make. I am going in and I am painting it white swan. I do want a really vibrant white for this sign, and I'm going to paint both sides of the sign with just one coat because it's already white. And then I'm going to go ahead and seal it with Big Top and let it dry. And then we're going to come back and we are going to do the first transfer. Now that it's completely dry, I am just going to take the transfer. I'm going to make sure that it is centerized on the board, and then we're going to start applying it. If you haven't applied a transfer before, it's really as simple as laying the transfer down. It comes with a transfer stick, and you just start on one edge and you rub the transfer all on with the stick. Then I start in that one corner and I just pull back the backing a little bit and I keep rubbing as I'm pulling, and it releases the transfer from the backing, and it really goes on very easy. The one piece that I can recommend is always make sure that your piece is completely dry. So if you have applied any type of top coat to your piece to seal it, just really ensure that it is dry. If it isn't, what will happen is it will peel the paint off of your piece, the transfer will, and it will be just a real hot mess. That I've learned from experience. And once the entire transfer is applied, then I go back and I apply 1 to 2 coats of top coat. So now I cut some 1x2s, and what I'm doing, and I just painted them black, I'm applying a border around the entire sign. I just think this really finishes it off, and I'm using my brad nailer, and I am going to put 3 nails on each side of the sign. And the key here, because that sign is not super thick, you just want to make sure that your brad nailer is very level, or like so it's not on any type of angle. You don't want to shoot a brad nail through to poke through the sign in any way. So that is just a little pro tip there. And I do both edges, and then I go back and I do each of the top pieces. For project 2, I'm going to go into the transfer kit and pull out the second page. And I'm going to use both of these transfers for my next few projects. So first I'm going to cut off the little truck, and from the first project, I had that long board. I cut that little chunk of sign, or that wood, off of that sign, and I am going to use that for this project. So I'm going to go ahead, paint it white swan, let it dry, clear coat it with the top coat of Big Top, and this sign is going to be set to go. So I'm going to do the exact same thing I did with the first sign. I am going to just lay down the truck. And after I laid this down, I thought, it looks like it's kind of angled, but I still liked it. I think maybe I should have lifted the back end a bit, but maybe the back end of the truck is weighted down from all the trees. I don't know. I was like, is it an optical illusion? But I'm doing the exact same thing with the transfer, rubbing it on with the transfer stick. And the one thing I should mention, after it's completely on, you do want to take that backing and rub over your transfer. It's called burnishing, and it just really embeds that transfer in whatever piece you're putting it on. So I'm going to apply more of my little 1x2s, and when I am creating all of these projects, I am really envisioning how I'm going to put all of them in a really pretty holiday vignette. So I'm trying to color coordinate them, make them all go together. And I want to put a few signs in this vignette. So right away, I knew that I was going to paint these boards the black to really make these images pop. So for this sign, I thought it needed just something. So I'm pulling out letterpress, and I love this set because there are 3 different fonts in different sizes. They are much smaller fonts than what IOD initially came out with. And on this sign, I am going to stamp Happy Holidays. So if you haven't used the stamps before, you just lay out exactly where you want your stamps. I pick it up with a piece of backing, and then I lay it down, and with the smaller stamps, I just gently touch it and rub ever so slightly. With the larger ones, when I'm working on pieces with those, I seem like I put a little bit more pressure on and make sure that I get really good coverage. Now that Happy is stamped, I'm going to go back, I'm going to lay out the word holiday or holidays, and this is a very easy way to make sure that you have enough spacing, that it's all exactly where you want to stamp it by laying out each of these letters. After I lay them all out, I make sure that they're just perfect, exactly just straight and where I want it. I pick it up with that backing, and I put the backing right against that little wood piece. That way when I go to put down the stamps again, I can line it right up with that and lay it down, and it's exactly where I had picked it up. I am using the black ink from IOD. And I just take the ink, I ink up all the letters, and like I said, I push it right against that wood, lay it down, and just rub ever so gently. And one little piece did not give a perfect impression, so I realigned it and re-stamped that. For project 3, I did find this breadboard or pizza board, whatever you want to call it, and I found it on a recent thrifting mission. Right away, I'm like, oh, this is gonna look so cool. It has a handle with like a little hanging piece on it. I thought it would look really awesome, like hanging from something on a wall. And I started applying the transfer. This is where I went wrong, folks. So if you ever find like a breadboard or a cutting board that's wood that has been used, there could possibly be like oils on it, which could prevent the transfer from it going on very easily. And I'm assuming they must have actually used this maybe for like pizzas or what have you. And the transfer, it really was a bear to get on because of that. So when I talked about clear coating the item before putting on the transfer, I should have definitely did that to this piece. So there was a couple areas of like the lettering that didn't go perfectly on. I'm kind of sad about it, but live and learn from my mistakes so you don't do it. But after I put it on, I clear coated it with a top coat of Big Top, and this one was a really easy project. So for project 4, I knew right away when I had seen that large wreath in the transfer kit that I wanted to do this. So I pulled out one of my rounds, I painted it white swan, I let it dry very good. I applied my top coat of Big Top to it, let that dry, and we are coming back and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with this. So I'm pulling out the 2 pieces of the wreath, and the nice thing about this is on each of the ends, they actually like join together, it like fits together, so you will never know that these were 2 pieces. So I am going to line them up on the board how I want it, and just like that, and then I'm going to pull the backing off and I'm going to go to town and just start adhering the transfer. Now I am also going to use that cardinal that you had seen on the other page, and I love that saying that when cardinals appear, angels are near. And after my grandma passed away, I kept seeing cardinals, so I'm making the sign in memory of her. So I'm using the letterpress stamp set again, and I'm hand stamping when cardinals appear, angels are near. And it is one of my favorite sayings about cardinals. So I did the exact same thing I did with the happy holiday sign, just line everything up and place it down. And I really am loving how the sign is turning out. And this is such a simple way to create different sayings on signs with all these different fonts. After I completely finish stamping the sign, I did go back and seal the transfer with a top coat. I always use Big Top, and I sealed the whole piece with Big Top. For project 5, now this fella, he is really cute, but I am going to paint over them. I know many are probably like, what? But I have a total different vision for this, so he's getting painted. He was super cute, but nope. So I'm painting the entire top of the crate with White Swan. I am going to paint the base of the crate with Carnival Red. I always want to call it Cardinal Red, but it's Carnival Red. I'm going to let both pieces dry. I'm going to apply a clear coat to each piece of Big Top. And once that is all dry, we are going to come back and I am going to show you what my vision is for this crate. So for starters, I am going to use this Roycycled paper, and this is from the holiday release of the Roycycled paper. And I used it for another project, so I always keep my scraps and all the end pieces, and I'm going to just trace around the entire piece, and we are going to apply this on the very top. So if you haven't used decoupage paper before, it's really as simple as you always want to start with a white background to really make your colors pop. I use liquid patina from DIY as my decoupage medium, and I just apply a really nice even layer of the liquid patina down, and then I start working in sections with the decoupage paper. It is so much easier to manage rather than lay down the whole piece and get lots of wrinkles. So I just slightly put enough on the top and just really a nice even amount, and then I am going to lay down the very edge and then start working, like rubbing it with my hand and working it down. And it really, you don't get many wrinkles, and it just goes on so nice. And then I lift up the paper and then I apply the liquid patina to the second half and just rub it on like I did with the first. So I start by placing the bear, and again, I just rub it on, and oh, guys, this bear is so cute. And then I decided I wanted to place these about, but I didn't know initially how I wanted it, and then I just decided to just randomly place some of the greens, some of the pine cones, and then the berries on both sides of the bear. And then I decided to add a few even underneath where he was sitting, and this is by far one of my favorite projects. I just think all the animals within the Christmas Valley transfer set is super duper cute. I hope you get as much of a kick out of those little birds and critters as I do. For project 6, this was such an easy flip, and honestly, I wish I had some more galvanized containers to do a few more of these. It is as easy as cutting out the transfer, applying it to that galvanized holder, and after I got the transfer on, I did apply a coat of Big Top just to seal it, and then I'm going to add a touch of color. So I am pulling out my red again, and I am going to just paint that little handle red. And I love how it all coordinates together, and it really makes that little winter house scene pop. And after I apply the paint, it is DIY paint, and it can be reactivated with water. So I'm gonna let this dry really thoroughly, go back and seal it with Big Top, and this project is complete.
So what did you guys all think? What was your favorite? Honestly, I loved that sign with the cardinal. After my grandma passed away, I saw a ton of cardinals. It was kind of funny. I saw a ton of cardinals, and then a few times I saw a hawk, and my husband actually said to me, she's watching you like a hawk. And I'm like, yes, she is. She is watching me like a hawk. But the cardinals do remind me of her as well. So I hope you guys have a great weekend. And on Monday, if you want, join me for my live. When I did my release on Wednesday, I did the IOD release on my live there. Everyone had asked that I do the paint inlays. So we on Monday, on my live at 6 o'clock, are going to dive into paint inlays, and I'm going to demo how they work and how easy they are. I think that it is definitely a newer product. People are a little bit scared, so we're going to dive into it and make it. I'm going to make you see how easy it is to use it. So have a great weekend, and we'll see you soon. Bye. Bye.